Hello, everybody. The start of November means it's time for a new installment of the Community Connect. And once again, these are these short, socially distanced, three-part interviews with different members of our staff to let you know about all the different programs we have at the Department of Waste Resources. We've done this for a few months, so we've talked from everything from recycling to hazardous waste. Last month, we hit on planning, and this month, we are getting technical. We are talking about engineering. And for that, we're going to bring in one of our principal engineers, Jeff Gow. And Jeff, I think a lot of people wheel their trash bins to the curb every week, and they don't really think about where that waste ends up. And if they visit one of our landfills, they might see the big machinery burying that trash. But these landfills are a lot more than that. They're actually really intricately designed, literally from the ground up, starting with the landfill liner. So Jeff, if you can, maybe kind of give us an engineering 101 as to how it relates to the landfills.
Sure. Landfills have come a long ways through the decades. Primarily in the early 1990s, that's when there's federal regulations that came to be to start lining our landfills. And really the whole thought with lining landfills is to protect our groundwater quality. And so it's no longer just a hole in the ground where a lot of the trash goes. It's a lined, engineered system. And a lot of that is first shaping our landfill disposal areas. A lot of that involves a lot of grading, a lot of mass earthwork, and shaping our disposal areas to get the maximum amount of airspace in the area that we're working with. We're trying to be good stewards for the environment, so we're trying to limit the disturbance as much as possible, but gain as much airspace as much as possible. And those engineered systems, it includes a multi-layered liner system, like you mentioned. Not just soil. We use a lot of clay products, and then we use something called geosynthetics, which is usually materials that are made out of high-density polyethylene. Various layers of that, so multi-layered. So if you do have a layer that fails, there's a backup there as well. And then there's also kind of a filter layer, a drainage system that we use to channel any kind of liquid or moisture that's in the trash, which we call leachate, and that filters that through and collects outside the landfill disposal area as well. So a lot of that is underground. When you go to a landfill, typically you might see what we call the active phase, where you'll see the usually the haulers or trucks or even self-haul customers dumping. That's just a snippet of where you see trash. The rest of the disposal area is usually covered with soil, and usually has 6 to 12 inches of soil over it. And again, if you were to peer down and look past that, the soil and the trash underneath of it, think of it almost as like a bathtub. It would be completely lined with that multi-layer liner system.
All right, we want to thank Jeff for stopping by and giving us that little engineering 101 lesson about everything that goes on at our landfills. Join us next week. We're going to continue the conversation and talk about the work that goes on at our closed landfills.